Everybody's lined up to the road getting gas.
Really? Price must have went up again, I bet.
Probably.
Call this meeting to order. All stand and face the flag. The pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call. Brett Luther.
Present.
R.J. Donovan.
Here.
Tim Yoakum. I'm here. Approval of minutes.
Make a motion that we approve minutes as written.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approval of claims.
Motion to approve claims.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approval of payroll.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll.
Second the motion to approve payroll.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move right along to public comment. If someone has something they want to say tonight, please come up here and identify yourself and state what you want to say. Okay. There'll also be another chance at the end, so we'll let you know that too. Health Department update from COVID-19. I got some information from the Health Department. I was going to go over some of that tonight. Might be a lengthy reading, but it's good information. These are the positive cases. This is a year overview from 2021. In January of 21, there was 265 positive cases. February there was 72. March 36. April 34. May 49. June 8. July 54. August 261. September 346. October 201. November 175. And December was 330. Different information. The total of deaths that we've had occurred here in our county is 67. The vaccinated residents are at 51.4%, and booster vaccines are currently at 18.6%. The first case is reported in March 27th of 20 here, and it spread to a total of 3,159 cases by the end of last year. And so we appreciate that update. There's some also other information here that we can put up and put on our site. Okay. Anybody got anything else to say about health update? Next on the comment is the Vermillion Rise. Bob Gruey is probably not going to be here. We asked him to come at the morning meetings, didn't we? Bob, I
think the first
Tom,
meeting of
anything
the
to
month.
I think it's looking very good over there. I know that I hear quite a bit from Joe Ellis, keeps me informed of what's going on over there, and a lot of great things going to happen over there here for long. I appreciate his commitment and all those on the board, and looking forward to hear some good things from Vermillion Rise. Next is VTA. I think Mr. Zimmerman is here, and Tom Milligan is here.
Got a big smile on my face. Les Zimmerman, Vermillion Trails Alliance. Big smile on my face today. Met this morning with the engineer. We did a walkthrough of the project, and they have released the contractor. And they showed up right around the time the engineer was leaving, fired up the excavator, took the creek crossing out, and when I left there at 3 o'clock this afternoon, they had a track truck on a trailer. They were heading. They're gone. Wow. They're gone. This project started 3 weeks ago tomorrow morning. I could not be more pleased. I think Tom would agree with this contractor. He just did an awesome job, went above and beyond, did stuff that was not even in the contract. and we're so impressed with them. So you got your money's worth. I guess with that, you're probably going to be getting a bill one of these days. So I need to clarify how that all works. You'll get a bill. You will pay the bill. I hope you have enough money to pay it. It's going to be $160,000. The reimbursement, as the county council agreed to do this as a fiscal agent, the reimbursement will follow when you submit the claim. I just had a conversation with Lisa Herber over at DNR, and she said the state is about 4 weeks on reimbursements. So the county's going to be hanging for 160 grand for a period of weeks, but the money's good. Over the course of these last 3 weeks, I guess I'd just like to share with you that we had a remarkable group of guys that showed up out there. Tom was there, Dave Marietta was there, Tom's brother John came out, Ed Inman, Marvin Milligan was out there. And the group out there, I don't know who the youngest guy was, maybe John. What, John, like 67, 68 maybe? So anywhere from the late 60s to late 70s. We were all in that bracket. So you had a bunch of old guys out there that put in somewhere between 200 and 300 man-hours of work over these last 3 weeks. We had one other young guy that showed up out there and did a little bit of work, and that's that guy right there. Came out there and finished the concrete for us on the bridge approach. But I couldn't be more proud of the guys that showed up out there and did all this work. It was just a remarkable value. So with that, I'll just take any questions you have about the thing. It is, let's just say, okay, the contract has been fulfilled. There are a number of items out there yet to do that we have consented to self-perform. It's going to include some seeding, a little bit of erosion control, straw mat, things like that. There are some mitigation plantings that need to go in to be small trees, a few little buffer shrubs, all of which the Vermillion Trails Alliance and other volunteers will take care of over a course of time. Obviously, with it frozen up now, we can't do plantings. So the final completion of this and the final inspection by the DNR will happen after that's all complete. And at that point, we will apply for the rest of the reimbursement. She informed me that they would reimburse up to 90% of the project. So,
Is that including your hours and equipment and so forth that's been donated more or less?
our
Or volunteered?
hours and all of our equipment, our fuel that we donated is all a donation, and it will all count toward match.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
the code.
And they don't give us much. I think what do they give us, like $10 or something an hour?
You don't bring, if it's just a labor, that's what they credit you for.
Yeah. So, and then as far as equipment, I think they will give you, like, you know, my skid steer, for instance, I think I can get like $40, whatever the rental rate is, $40 an hour maybe.
FEMA rate. Usually they go with FEMA rates.
Beg pardon?
FEMA rates, whatever those
I
are.
don't know what they use. It's a DNR, as you're calling the shots on that. They will do that. But we are going to tabulate all those things and submit them. I think Lynn and or Eric will take care of that process. So.
I talked to Park County today. They called me, and there was some concrete pieces that they had over there, and they said if you get a chance to bring them back over, whatever, they still there.
Might be a good way
Good
to
luck
get
with
them.
that.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, they're gonna have to go across the bridge.
I mean, if it's theirs, we'll return them. So that's up. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah, we can't pick them up.
they're there. We didn't steal them.
There's no.
Well, they
route out
ask, and
there.
I think I will honor that in some way.
Yeah, well, it's gonna involve a pretty heavy piece of equipment, which will have to come across the bridge. So, yeah. And we intend, you know, to be in touch with the Montezuma Parks Board. I think there's been some concerns expressed about getting emergency response in there. And as it's set up now, they've got like a 39 or 40 inch gap there, and you can't get, you know, a Ranger or anything through there. And so we're gonna approach them and propose maybe they would put in bollards, which are, you know, big poles, spaced out a little bit to where one of them is removable. Because I think there is concern, obviously, if Montezuma has to respond or Hillsdale has to respond to something, they need to have access. And so we've got that on our radar. We are going to address that with Montezuma. And I think whether we like it or not, we're partners with Park County now.
So we've had what I call a soft opening. I mean, it's people are using the trail at this point. I mean, and there's several out there, but and we'll have like an official, you know, once we get all the things that Les has said, once all that's done, why then we'll have the grand ribbon cutting. I mean, we got to get completely signed off with DNR, make sure all that stuff is done. Then we'll have a more of a celebration at that point, and we need to do signage, and we want to do some, you know, safety things, etiquette things. I would like to see us right there, welcome to Vermillion County. I mean, the first thing I want, that's what the first thing once they cross that bridge, I'd like to see, welcome to Vermillion County. I don't want to see a sign that says, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I want to see welcome. And so we're going to work on, we found a place to put up a pole, you know, as part of the old railroad stuff. So, you know, but the only way you're going to access it at this point, people need to be clear, you got to go to Montezuma. That's the only way you're going to access the trail is go to Montezuma and walk across the bridge. And it is a walking, biking trail. It's not for motorized vehicles. And so I'm getting questions about that, and that because I mean the funding we got, that's the specifics. I mean it's funded as a walking, biking, pedestrian trail, so you know it's not for motorized vehicles.
We had an opportunity to meet with NDOT a week ago or 2 weeks ago now. The Cayuga, I mentioned this to y'all a little bit earlier today, but the Cayuga overpass there where the railroad used to go underneath there, they're going to be filling that in. We have an opportunity to be part of that, putting a tunnel basically through that, and they'll overfill that. There's a cost to that, of course. And a maintenance agreement with that, but it's something that we'll need to be looking at. But in conjunction with the Hillsdale grade there, I've asked them to get if they'll give us the beams that go across that bridge, and I'm not sure that's something we really want, but it's something for VTA to consider is if we're going to be wanting those possibly for that creek crossing Little Raccoon. So whether we can use them or not, I put it on the table and they didn't say no. So
it's a good thing to be aware of. Thank you for that. We need to have probably an answer in the next few weeks or a couple of months here. We're going to have to give a go, no-go decision on that tunnel, and then also probably with these beams because the contracts will be written. Once the contracts are written, it's harder to get things done. So we need to make sure our requests are in there in sufficient time. Well, and that, for your information, that Cayuga situation was on our VTA agenda last month, and it will continue to be on our agenda. We're working toward putting together a working group or an ad hoc committee or whatever to explore our options on that. So we are absolutely aware of it, and we appreciate you guys meeting with NDOT and getting that kind of lined out and getting that, you know, kick-started, at least discovering that we have some options.
One thing in the 1960s we came across on some historical review that Tim initiated was that there's a Harrison Trail that was started back in the 1960s sometime that was something that goes all the way from Vincennes to basically where Prophetstown is today in Lafayette. Is anybody aware of that trail? Apparently it was something that people in the county it was in the records of going out and working on this trail, wherever this trail is.
It ended about 1960 when it finally when it died off on it.
Maybe it died off or started. In 1960 came
That's when
up
the interest,
anyway.
they quit being active on it.
So I don't know what the extent, but apparently the state was involved in this in pushing it from, I don't know what division, probably historic or either DNR or someone in there, historic preservation. But it'd be nice to know if we have assets that may exist from that. But it's a big initiative, and they were putting apparently sufficient or monies into this, and I don't know, who knows what happened. Vietnam or
Well,
what.
and I don't know, I mean, we could have a long conversation about that, but just
You know
very
about it?
briefly, I will tell you that there are initiatives underway with a group, what is it, the Wabash Heritage Innovation Network, WIN. And they have Lilly Foundation money, and it's focused up in Lafayette. And their goal is to go from, say, north of Lafayette around Delphi and come all the way down through Warren and Fountain counties. Well, right across the river from Cayuga is Fountain County.
Right.
And so we are tuned into that group. We've had actually presentation from Stan Lambert up there in Lafayette. We've had discussions with them. We've been in discussions with Vigo County and Mayor Clint Lamb down in Sullivan County. There's talk about having a trail from
Fort to Fort, from
Fort to
Fort
Fort.
Harrison to the fort at Vincennes.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk going on, a lot of vision, a lot of dreaming going on. You can only do what you can do, but we're trying to do a piece, every little piece helps.
And that's the way these systems are done. You get one piece done, then you connect another piece, and then you put another piece in, and pretty
Sure.
soon it becomes very obvious. You got to get this. You got to get it done. So that's the way they're done across the country, and across the state is section at a time. And we've got a grant application out for another section coming out of Hillsdale, and so.
You got a marathon coming up, do you not?
That's right, the 26th of April?
March.
26th of March. We moved it from April to March because of the Carmel Marathon. So, yeah, so everybody needs to sign up if they don't do a 5K or a half marathon or a full marathon. Those applications that are out there, that's
There's very few full marathons in the area, from what I understand.
Right.
So if you're qualifying for something else, it's an opportunity. I don't know enough about it, but.
Yeah, and good practice then for the mini marathon in Indianapolis then that comes in May. So this would be a good opportunity to get out and try your running legs, I guess.
Do you have to pay twice if you run it twice?
We'll pay, but we'll take all the money you want to give. All right. Thank you very much. And again, we appreciate your support in embracing this whole project. It's really cool. Really cool.
There are people out walking on it now, so just be aware that. Yeah, it's happening. So.
And as we get closer and get these little, finishing the little bows tied up on this project, we will report back to you. And we do want to set up a really, kind of a grand opening. And,
Sure.
With Park County. Like I told you, Tim, you're going to be standing there taking the torch from Jim Meats on your concrete slab that you poured.
I talked to the park board today, and they have a meeting Sunday at 4 o'clock. So if you guys want to go there Sunday at 4 and see them, we'll have a meeting.
Montezuma Park Board?
Yeah. So I need to talk to them about some other things, about the boat race and stuff anyway, so I'll probably be on there.
Thank you.
Thank you. As Britt did say, we had a nice meeting with the state of Indiana, INDOT. Really felt good. I think they're very receptive about helping us in our future plans. We have another meeting coming up with them in another week about some other major events going on. And I just want to say the state, I felt very receptive. They was very helpful with this project going on up there, possibly at Cayuga. They're sending us all the paperwork, and they said that they'll be there to help us. And I appreciate agencies that you can work with. And I think that it's important that we work good with them. And I think Park County, I think we need to do a lot more as far as partner with them. I think this trail project is a big part of how we can work together. And that's what it takes to make this a success. So, moving on, Britt, you got anything on the jail?
A couple of things, but to tag on to what you're saying, we were able to also talk with them about some of these dangerous intersections that we have, where we got a oblique angle coming into some of the state roads that we've had some recent fatalities, I guess, about, and accidents accordingly. So we have 3 of those that have been cited in the county that we're going to possibly be able to work with NDOT to be able to get those possibly into a different configuration. Also, as far as economic development goes, Doug's not here, but with economic development, looks like we're going to be entering into some discussions about access off Highway 74 also. The possibility of either an improvement or addition to that. Very in the infancy right now, but something that we're kind of hoping for this, what I call the High 74 corridor, an enterprise zone that we hope to develop in that area. So that's another step toward that anyway. Jail, the stormwater piping structures have been completed now. The mechanical addition on the slab is complete. Walls have been, they've been working on the masonry on the outside, but because of the storm that we're expecting here in the next, I guess, 24 hours or so, they've put up shoring on that and kickers to be able to support that. It's passed some structural inspection, I guess it is, with that. We've got some of those structural steel up on the backside on Unit C, the new part of the building, and the metal, basically the metal building, metal, I'll get that out. Building itself, the skin has come in now, we're in receipt of it. So everything seems to be coming along well. The parts that we thought were going to be a delay are present, and still we're on schedule and on budget. Still got a lot of the contingency left, and the same thing with soft costs. We're doing well so far with the inmates even going out. We do have a record number of inmates, unfortunately, that are being housed elsewhere, but fortunately also 2 other jails opened up to us, so we're able to still house these persons. So for the most part, everything is going well until the weather hits anyway tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
We're still looking at completion date of this time next year.
January 3, January 4, whatever that day is. Yeah.
Okay. RJ, do you have any other comments about the state meeting?
No, I think you guys hit all the heads on there. They're very receptive to, a lot of our intersection concerns. Every year we have issues with mowing, it seems like, at 63 and 234, 163 and 63, or, 163 and 63 in Clinton. And they were very receptive to, looking into that and helping us get those concerns addressed.
You want to take care of the ordinance on that?
Yeah. So last meeting we didn't have the ordinance ready. We closed the courthouse on January the 12th, 2022. I'd like to read this ordinance by title only and ask for approval of it. County ordinance number 2022-003, an ordinance closing the courthouse on January 12th, 2022. And I'd make a motion to approve that ordinance.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Public Defender Board, Judge Wish and Nancy Wilson. Can everyone hear us okay?
Thank you.
All right, as I think I've been in front of you guys, I've been in front of the council talking about the Regional Public Defender Board, which would be Fountain, Park, and Vermillion. And what I've requested today is to have the commissioners make the appointment to the regional board. So it will consist of 3 members, 1 from each county. And for the term, it's 3 years. And for the first round, our commissioners make the appointment for this county. Judge Swaim in Park County makes their first appointment to the board, and the PD Commission selects from Fountain County. So they've already made their appointments, so they're kind of waiting on us to make our appointment. So that's why we're here today. Once that appointment is made, then they can get to the brass tacks of getting the interlocal agreement discussions going again and get that finalized and get all the details figured out. So I'm requesting that you consider appointing Nancy Wilson. I have been lucky enough to have her on my board basically since I took the office, and she has been very active, has done a lot for that board, and I couldn't have asked for a better member. So Nancy's been a part of all of these regional board discussions, has been to the meetings with me, and has been very active in speaking with the State PD Commission and trying to get some of these details worked out. So really, I couldn't ask for anyone who would know more than myself when it comes to working on this board. So I would ask that you consider appointing her.
I really appreciate both of you guys taking this up, because it's a needed service, but we're not doing so well with it. So if you two hadn't done this, we wouldn't be where we were at today anyway.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that commissioners appoint Nancy Wilson to the Joint Public Defenders Board upon its establishment for the Multnomah County Public Defender's Office. So with that, I'd like to make that nomination.
I'll second Britton's motion.
Discussion?
I'll just add what Britton said. I think Nancy will make a great addition to the board. I think she's, just fabulous what she does, very diligent. She sent us a lot of things on buildings for Vermillion County. So, without you spearheading this, I don't think a lot of this happens. So, those are my comments.
And she's been active for the last, I don't know how many years as well with the Defenders Board. And if everybody's not aware of it, but the Defenders Board has not been operating, they've been operating out of offices of the attorneys at Hardee's and in the hallways and sometimes in chambers upstairs. So they've not had a home yet, and so hopefully this joint committee will actually bring home a home to them.
Yes, that is the hope.
So,
yeah.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed?
All right. Thank you so
Quick
much.
question about the building. You guys all been talking about the building next door. How has that came along, or what's the status of that?
Kind of at an impasse at the moment. We need to get my appointment tonight so that this the regional board comprised of each of us from each of the counties can make some decisions about that. We didn't budget, none of the three counties budgeted money for rent or a lease agreement, so we're still maybe holding out hope that maybe there's room here in the courthouse for us.
Now, would that office, you're talking about office for all three counties together, or each?
So what it will be is one office for the chief PD, because
Right.
the board will hire a chief public defender. So they would operate kind of like
The
your
board
prosecutor.
Already one for all three counties together?
Yes, one chief PD for all three counties.
Okay.
And then that chief PD would be the employee. They would hire a legal secretary to assist in the office. And then every other position is a contract position. So we would need space for that chief PD, the secretary, and then a spare office so that when the PDs want to meet with their clients, that they have a place to do that.
Can that be funded by each individual county? Would be paying a certain amount, or how would
Right.
The
that?
regional board, yes. Yes, every county has already asked for a 15% across the board increase to be able to fund this. We don't have the budget lined out yet for this board, but we couldn't do that until we get the board actually formed.
And how do you
So-
assist in your whole goal and what you're doing is?
To provide adequate public defense for indigent people.
There's a couple of reasons. First of all, we had a really terrific, difficult time filling our PD contracts the last year. We finally have done that, but it's not something that's consistent and hasn't been consistent. So we're hopeful that having a chief PD who is located here in Vermillion County, who is getting paid comparable to your prosecutor salary, or at least close to it, that makes that a very attractive position for someone to actually stay
Right.
and do that job. Plus it's a benefit job, and most attorneys don't have benefits because they're in a private office or a small office. So this is a very nice position for an attorney. So having that person located here in the county, which is why I really would like to have it here, we're gonna have somebody here to fill that full-time contract, all the time. So having someone to do that is huge. They're gonna do all the legwork, they're gonna monitor how the PDs are doing at their job, because right now, I have Nancy and 2 other people who have full-time jobs, and they don't get to come to court and sit and watch. They're not attorneys to be able to know, hey, is that person actually doing what they're supposed to be doing or not? So, it really puts the judges in an awkward position as well. Judges aren't supposed to be doing all of the reports for the PD board. They're not like not the budget reports, because Nancy does that, but like the reporting and stuff that we have to do to the state. That really shouldn't be done by us, but it's too much to ask an unpaid board to do. So the chief PD would be doing that. The chief PD would be doing the budgets, and just being overseen by the board. Right now, I have a list of PDs that are available to me, and it's a pencil and paper mark to know who's next on the list to be a PD. I shouldn't be even seeing that. Like that, it's 3 separate parties that are involved in a lawsuit, like it just makes it more fair if the judge isn't the one appointing the PD. For the judge to be able to say, I'm appointing the public defender office, it takes any bias or any perceived bias out of the equation, because it's no longer up to the court to do that. It's up to the chief PD to assign whichever PD is either needing cases on their caseload, or if it's that person's specialty or a higher level felony that only certain PDs can handle. Your chief PD is going to have all that information and be able to balance that a whole lot better than your court staff is going to be able to do. So
Public defenders have to qualify to be public defenders. You can't just graduate from law school and be a public defender. You have to have experience. You have to cite your experience, that you've had jury trial experience, that you've been first chair in a jury trial. Some attorneys have to be murder qualified. I hope we don't ever have to know that, that's something we need to have available to us here in Vermillion County. But there are all kinds of qualifications. They have to qualify to represent families with the Department of Children's Services. They have to qualify to represent juvenile delinquents. It's just not, oh, I'm going to graduate from law school and pay off my student loans. It's not that easy. So therefore, we have a really difficult time finding people because of where we're located in the state, and just, people aren't moving here, they're not living here. We have to get people from Terre Haute, we have to get people from Covington and Montgomery County. So it's been a difficult 3 years trying to do this, and hopefully getting somebody who knows a lot more about the law than I do and how to manage people better than I do. We'll be able to find somebody rather quickly, and now that you've agreed to appoint me, we can get that started.
We're looking at this possibly being a stair step, with this being the first step here of appointing for the board. And the second part, they will be looking for a director once they get the charter in place, I guess. Once the charter's in place, they'll be approaching someone for employment as a public defender. We'll be obliged to, and we hope to do that by April 1st from what I understand. The county is going to be obliged to at least provide an office for this individual with the appropriate amenities, internet connection, office space, telephone, filing, some sense of privacy, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Confidentiality.
what we want to do is possibly do this initially, get this person on board, get them in place, and let them start taking the ball as far as the budgeting goes, and then what type of housing or what type of home we will find for the public defender, whether that's a lease on another piece of property inside the courthouse or some other property that the county may own, but that'll be for that person to carry that ball forward. It helps relieve, I think, our council in that it limits our expenditure initially until we get the whole package together And then the council will probably have to make an additional appropriation, I expect, is why we're headed with this. Because we'll have 2 offices, conference rooms, supply room, secretary receptionist room. And so with all that, I'm not sure we have that space in the courthouse, but we need to start looking at those possibilities and what elsewhere that this person will be able to tie that together instead of the judge having to run out, or Nancy running
Right.
out, or me or anybody else running out trying to find facilities for this to be keyholed into. So thank you guys, and
Thank you.
without this, you guys, we would have not. I'm excited about this. This is good. This is a good regional development idea. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with new business. Got a discussion about recycling building. For years we've talked about this. It's not making a firm decision. I just think it's time that we start talking more serious about recycling. We've met with International Paper and talked with them about the cardboard thing, and we've always talked about putting something there because it's centrally located. It's right next to the jail. It's right next to, deputies going in and out. The county's got their our county garage there, so the access and the surveillance there would be all the time there. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I would like to see us start thinking about that, doing something. We need to do something about recycling. We talked about it. At one time we had one company who was going to put in a recycling center there for free, and that was really a great thing. It was all coming together, and then they backed out the last minute. And so I just think that I'm going to have more conversation about this, and just want you guys know that's going to be some discussion coming up, and I welcome your input. I'm just saying that recycling has been around here for a while, and we need to get someplace where we're actually doing something with it.
Yeah, I know our solid waste, we were supposed to meet this week, but we've had a lot of members out sick. Britain, when we got on last year, we've been working on a 5-year plan. I think it's finished up, or dang near finished. I think even our advisory members will tell you recycling's been a big thing. It's just ultimately going to come down to
COVID too got us.
Yeah, it's just going to ultimately come down to cost, and how's the county going to fund it? I think everyone's on board with it. It's just a matter of cost, and is the county going to foot the bill? No one wants to hear taxes, but a lot of these other counties, they support it with the tax. Mm-hmm. So I'd be more than happy to discuss more, but I think solid waste, I think we're ready to move that way with it.
I just want to start a conversation. That's what I was wanting to do. So.
Do you want my idea yet?
Do
you want my idea yet?
I know what you're going to say.
We don't want to talk about that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
We ain't going that way. Anyway, let's put it that way. But I think everybody agrees that recycling is important to our county. There's a lot of people that are pretty avid at it, and a lot of people haul it long ways to get rid of it. I think that if we do something, it wouldn't be something of multiple types of recycling. I think if we would just maybe do a cardboard and something like that, it'd keep things simple. And something that we market, that we actually have a product that has value to it. So, but anyway, I think I just want to open that conversation up, and you'll hear more about it. Next is Doug Hess, memorandum on agreement with engineering service of Cayuga. I think that he's requesting the approval.
Well, this memorandum of contract, or agreement for services?
Yeah, and that was for a study for the town of Cayuga for maybe develop some housing.
For housing development. Yeah, I've talked to Doug. I don't have any issues with it. Pending anybody else having issues, I'd make a motion to approve the HWC Engineering Memorandum of Agreement for Engineering Services for Doug Hess and the Economic Development.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. Some people don't realize we have a new director now, Doug Hess. And he's very motivated. I've known Doug for a long time, and he's trying to make some things happen. He's meeting with people that should have been met with a long time ago, I think, and developing relationships. And I think that moving Vermillion County forward, it takes the right people to move forward. And I think Doug is one of the ones that's going to be a big help to us in the future. He's always there. Anytime I want to talk to him, he's called me back, and I think the rest of the board here agrees that he's quite an addition to our county, the economic development. So
I would agree to that.
what?
I said I would agree to that.
I think
Is
we
there
had-
anybody here from Cayuga that to talk to this?
I don't believe so. No, I guess Leanne.
So,
Leanne could, I guess. She worked for the town for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I don't know. I was hoping you were going to tell me before I said the years.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, what's next?
APC appointment?
Yeah, it's come to our attention that the APC appointment, the ag appointment, is a yearly appointment. When we done our commissioners appointments in December, that was one of them in question on our sheet that didn't have the years correct, and John Moore brought that to our attention as well, that that needed looked at. And it's come to our attention that it is a yearly appointment, so I would make a motion to reappoint our ag appointment, Joe Ellis, to the APC.
I'll second. I think Britt's been busy.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for that, I guess. Sorry.
We've got a second discussion, but I just thought he was busy, but
I was.
now's your time to
About
speak.
that. I'm not prepared I'm sorry, I'm just not prepared for that appointment, but it is confirmed that it is 1 year.
Year. That's right, John?
Yes,
Say
it's an
again.
annual appointment.
1 year.
And they did confirm his residency issue, correct?
Yeah,
With the
I don't have a
board-
problem
the
with
board was
residency,
here
it's
to
just
confirm
1
his
year.
residency.
Yeah.
There was no issue with his residency.
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, the board did. The other day when the board was here, they said that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, we just need to make that in our appointment file, that the ag appointment is a yearly, that way we make that appointment.
Is there any conflict with the Rise with that?
No.
None? Okay. As long as that's been cleared up, I'm fine.
Okay, everybody heard that too, no conflict. Board of Health appointment replacing Dr. Cloyd.
Do we make
Did
that?
you say all in favor? Did you already do it?
To what?
You didn't do all in favor on the
Yeah.
APC?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? RJ does a good job.
Don't tell too many people that.
Next, I have Board of Health appointment replacing Dr. Cloyd.
I've made some reviews of what's been provided to us and for the nominees, and I'd like to propose to the commissioners that we appoint in place of Dr. Cloyd's resignation, Christina Barnes, to complete the term of Dr. Cloyd.
Is that your motion?
My motion.
I'll second his motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. We got a resolution from Mark O'Hare. Thought we would get done.
I think he talked about this back in, was this November or December he talked about this?
The ADA, Title VI and ADA.
Mm-hmm.
That was done for the Crossroads grant in July, I think.
Okay. I'll do these by title unless you guys want these all read out.
By title's good with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-001, a resolution regarding the Vermillion County Title Implementation Plan, February 1st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve, or second that motion, I mean. I'm sorry.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution 2022-002 Disabilities Act Transition Plan.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-002, a resolution regarding Vermillion County Americans with Disabilities Act Transition Plan, February 1st, 2022.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, public comment? Anyone? Do want to say we did put in some application for community crossing grant this year. We ran out of time on some of it. We might do the other part of it in July. We had some COVID issues and people sick, but we will be pursuing the total amount again this year for $1.33 million. Some people think that it was said that something has changed in our funding, and Vermillion County is keep going forward. We've increased our grants, and we're doing a lot better each year. From 2 years ago, we increased it by $333,000. So, but we look forward to more things with Community Crossing Grant. We're also looking forward, like we said earlier, to working more with the state. Britt's been working on some things. I think it's very important in getting the call for projects. We have a lot of damage that came from a 50-year rain, and it's unusual for that to happen like that. But what we want to do is, there's money out there, but you got to be so far. It takes so many years for it to get it. Bridge 122 is like 5 or 6 years to get this thing funded, and not funded, but get it done from the start to the beginning. I think it was 80-20. I think we got getting about $800,000 of funding on the $1 million project. But Britt's been talking. I've been talking to the engineers, Clark Dietz, and if we can get some type of looking ahead in our bridges and try to get them on some type of a schedule, whereas when it comes up, we're not paying for the bulk amount of this. And planning, I think that is the big thing. I think it will be a tremendous asset to our county, looking ahead and putting these things out here on a repair schedule that we'll have a large amount of funding for them, instead of coming along and saying the county's got to pay for them. You want to talk a little bit about that, Britt?
Well, come March 1st, plus or minus, we'll have our county asset management plan together, which will include bridges, roads, ditches, culverts, signs, and I guess that may be about it. But anyway, what we'll be doing is once we get that in, we'll be assigning dollars to that and prioritizing those assets that we have in the order in which we can actually do those projects. Once we have the dollars assigned to them, then we'll also have a town hall to discuss those with different people in the different districts, to be able to allow people to see where we have the monies and what will be improved or what will be replaced as time goes by. And then have input from that too, because just because we think that this is a priority, there may be some other mitigating issues that we need to look at in order to make sure that we have a good plan, a good transportation plan, and that we have it well funded. With that being said, I forgot that on 75 West, I forgot the cost in now for a culvert that I can like to go ahead and forward with. That road's closed right now, and it's going to be, I think, I didn't bring the dollar amount with me, but it's less than $25,000. As for the replacement of it, right now it's a old concrete culvert that's now failed in its entirety. It's not salvageable. Because we don't have our asset management planning together at this point to know why we want to particularly open this road back up, I'm proposing that we go back with the corrugated metal pipe in its place. This is assuming we get the easements from the adjacent property owners, because it will take additional road or additional land in order to put these in. Right now they're retaining walls that keep it within the right-of-ways that we currently have, and so assuming we get those, we'll be putting a pipe structure in its place. We'll go out for bid once we get approval, and I'll start the process of getting that culvert ordered, and it'll be approximately 2 weeks, supposedly. Yeah. So we'll see how that really pans out. So if you guys are in agreement,
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm in agreement. Yeah, 25,000. Yeah, that's fine.
That's just for the culvert, not for
well,
the
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Is that grant money just for asphalt? Did you guys decide that, or for community crossing?
Mainly asphalt.
Can't use it for gravel.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Before we go, Tim, I will say before we go.
Let's prolong this a little.
Let's prolong it. We are under an hour still, so I mean, I did want to let everyone know that due to incoming weather, there are talks about closing the courthouse on Thursday, depending on weather, and depending on how it goes tomorrow, the courthouse may be closed early. We will coordinate that with all the offices and Eric as well to make sure that gets out. But depending on that, it may be closed early. So anybody in the public, hopefully you don't make a trip out and, be upset.
Call before you come, maybe?
Yeah, but.
I can speak to that for just a second here as well. I didn't want to have to make tons of phone calls first thing in the morning if the changeover happened overnight. So we have made arrangements, and the attorneys all know, and so they're supposed to be calling their clients, but we are doing all Zoom tomorrow, no matter if the courthouse is open or closed.
Okay.
We will be all Zoom. We have put the Zoom information on our answering machine, so if someone calls, if they have a hearing, they can get that information if they don't have it. Most people, I think, already have it because we've been doing it long enough and it's the same ID, but, or they can contact their attorney. Same thing for Thursday and Friday, will probably be Zoom, but if the courthouse is closed, then we won't have it. So.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And the only other thing I'll add is hopefully everyone signs up for this 5K on the 26th, or if not, make a donation to the VTA or volunteer. I know some office holders are volunteering. I think the recorders, I think Penny Carpenter, I don't know, but I would challenge, even the city of Clinton, any elected, actually I challenge all elected officials, to make a donation or participate. I'll be participating. I will most likely be at the back of the pack, but, I will be out there.
Do you have match their contributions?
Nah. I can't do that, but I will make it. No.
Thought I'd ask.
Yeah, no. That's all I have.
You sure?
That's, I'm done.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second his motion.
No discussion?
Well, no, I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nobody's opposed.